This presentation will show you some of the few ways that you can use MakeLine. First of all, I'm going to go to my temporary layer to set some guidelines. And then what I'm going to do is turn the topography on, show, hide, always on, so it says on the upper right corner. I'm going to refresh the screen by right-clicking this button here, and then I've got the topography. I've on a temporary layer, so I'm going to use some guidelines. We're going to hit offset the east property line 160 positive, and I'm going to offset this line. Now that's a minus 150 to the center, so this would be approximately the center line coming from this street perhaps, and not to exceed this limit. And now I'm going to go to layer 1, which is my centerline layer, and I'm going to go to geometry, offset, click on that. It's a positive, it's 50-foot right away, so I'm going to put 25 feet. And now I've got to be somewhere in here, and then follow the topography to create some curves and then end in a cul-de-sac. What I'm going to do here is go to geometry and then MakeLine. Now, on a topography like this, if slopes are a concern, I could click show slope, and then I'm going to take and go somewhere in here and then create guidelines for my street to follow. If I want the curves to be at an exact delta, what I could do is hit angle and then type in 1 for angle, and that will round off to the nearest degree. So let's say right in this area I want to start placing my road. Now look at the slope up at the top. So as I go into the different areas of topography, you'll notice the slope changes. So that's what clicking show slope does. And let's say I have a maximum 6% slope, so I'm pretty much okay here. And then I come into this area, I'm coming down the hill, and then see if I go into here, now I've got 10.81% slope at the upper right corner, and then say I want to come over here. That's generally how I'm using MakeLine to guide the center of my road. Now this particular line, if I snap to it, is not an even degree because I came off of my in parallel using the offset to the property line. Then I go into arcs, fillet, and I'm going to snap to these two lines with a fillet, and I'm going to try a radius of 350 feet. And then click on it and say, yeah, that looks good to me. And I'll try another fillet from here. I'm going to go all the way up to here. I'll try 300 feet, see what that looks like. And you can see I'm not quite reaching this point. So I'm just going to scroll my middle button on the mouse. Now notice it's going in 10-foot increments. If you want to fine-tune that, you would hit the right button. Now notice the adjustment is now 5 feet, and then one more time, and now it's 1 foot. If I wanted to go and do this as a reverse curve, I snap to the curve first and then the line above it. So let's say I don't want to do that and I just want to use these guidelines. So I would do a fillet from here to there, 150-foot radius. Let's try that. And that puts a little piece of tangent in here between the two. And then on this one, I'll do a fillet from here to here of a 250-foot radius, puts a little piece of tangent in here, and when I snap to these curves, you can see it's exactly a 61-degree delta at the upper right corner and exactly 250-foot radius. For example, I would want to call that something, so I'll just say by name CLA. If you're going to take and use the roadway features, don't use a number, go A, B, C, D, and then go into streets, make a street, CLA, got my street, 50-foot right-of-way, 28-foot pavement, and then I'll come in with a cul-de-sac over here, somewhere, say here, and then along this line, and then I'll say that's a 50-foot diameter there, 40-foot diameter here, 50 and 28 is my right-of-way and pavement width, And if I snap into these areas, it actually shows a little picture. I'm not going to put an island, and then these are my return radiuses, and that would be the cul-de-sac. And now you've got a center line with even deltas, little pieces of tangent, and one way you can use MakeLine.